Well, hello, avid readers. Trisha Goyer here, and this is a special bonus episode of Avid Readers of Christian Fiction. And I'm so excited because I'm going to be sharing a little bit different, something different today, especially if you're a reader or a writer, but you want to pay attention if you're either one of those. We're going to be talking about faith, fantasy, science fiction, creativity, and a way you can go to this amazing event that is going to mix all those things. So, we're talking about Realm Makers. It's an amazing conference that has traditionally been for speculative fiction writers of faith. But guess what? This year, they're doing something new and they're opening the doors for readers too, which I'm super excited about. So, joining me today is Scott Miner. He's the co founder and executive director of Realm Makers. But, Scott, I would love for you to just start by sharing a little bit about yourself.
Hello, Trisha.
It's so great to
It's
have you.
yes, it's fantastic to be here on your podcast. It's been great seeing you at all the events that we go to together. I'm glad
Yes.
we were able to meet. But boy, I do have a bit of an unusual history. Both my wife Becky and I uh, grew up all over the country, moving around a lot. But ultimately, I settled in college. I have a degree in musical theater.
Okay.
So I'm kind of a theater geek, band geek, choir geek, all around kind of performing arts extrovert geek, and directed children's theater. One of my great joys of my life is doing Shakespeare performance with children.
Oh, fun.
Oh, it is so incredibly exciting to see young children. I'm talking third and fourth grade and up playing main roles in Shakespeare productions. It's amazing to watch. But also doing, your kids' musicals that are kind of cute with the hand motions with the little preschoolers and the
I
kindergartners.
love those. Yes. I love it.
For about 10 years, I taught music and drama at a classical Christian school where my kids have gone for quite a few years now. I guess it's been like 15 years now. Benjamin, my youngest, is graduating this year.
Oh, wow.
So we're like this close to an empty nest, as they say. And that's all exciting. We've got three boys. Becky and I met in college. She has a degree in no, I'm the one with musical theater. Her degree is in film animation.
Oh, really? Okay. I did not know
Yeah,
this.
so she started out a visual artist, and she still is an illustrator. Um, but after, having children, and it's really hard to be creative uh, and focus on yourself or artistic endeavors when you've got kids. But around 2010, she started writing. So
Okay.
still a storyteller
Yeah.
because, an animator is just a storyteller with a pencil, right? Just drawing instead of writing
I love
words.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been fantastic, and I fell in love with her and her wit and her talent. She's so smart and really the better half of the two. And I extrovert on her behalf.
There we go. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I know that she inspired you kind of to get into this speculative fiction world. So, you want to tell us a little bit about that and then tell us about Realm Makers and how it got started?
Sure. Well, that was one of the ways that we really connected personally when we first met. We were both drum majors of our respective high school marching bands. We both loved choir, but we met because a friend of mine in the School of Theater moved in with her, and I saw the Dungeons and Dragons books on her bookshelf. And I was like, oh, I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since I was in seventh grade. And so Becky at the time was queen of the gaming society at college. So, I just showed up some Thursday night for, the gaming club and started playing D&D with Becky and her friends. And we discovered, we both grew up loving Lord of the Rings
Mhm.
and the Chronicles of Narnia, um, reading and fiction. So that was just one of the many ways that we connected personally. And then she started writing fantasy. And at the time, man, I was working. 2 or more jobs at a time. I was leaving before everybody was awake, and I was coming home after everybody had gone to bed. Um, just working, 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 trying to make ends meet, and she was home and with kids and homeschooling, and, she started writing around 2010, and, before you knew it, she had a finished book, and in, 2012 was when the idea started germinating. Well, her original idea, and to this day, our original, like, LLC is called the Faith and Fantasy Alliance,
Oh, wow.
right? So she was in conversation online with a number of fantasy and science fiction authors, and, she wanted to cooperate with other Christian authors who are writing in these genres and represent at
Mhm.
secular fan cons like Dragon Con and events like that. And before that materialized, the sudden need came up for the Realm Makers Writers Conference. There was just a degree of frustration among fantasy and science fiction authors who were going to your more traditional Christian writers conferences and really just feeling out of place. And it just came to a head with, I remember Becky just saying, "We need our own conference." And when you do stuff like that, people go, "Great, when's it gonna be?" You go to
Exactly.
church and you say, maybe you go to visit a new church and you're like, "You guys should have a choir." Well, guess who it falls to make that happen?
Guess who's leading the choir now? Guess who's
Exactly,
running the
exactly.
conference now, Scott?
When you identify the need, it falls to you to fill the need. And so she sat down to it to have her own conference and started talking about it. And before you know it, when something needs to happen, it materializes. And so the first Realm Makers Writers Conference was in 2013 in St. Louis. It has happened every year since, even though after that first one, people were saying, "When's the next one?" And Becky didn't even know. It's like, I didn't know we were going to do another one.
And look at it now.
Yeah, and gradually I got more and more involved,
Yeah.
being the author's spouse.
Mhm.
Now, after so many years, I don't know too many successful authors who don't have a supportive spouse,
Mhm.
you
I
know?
completely agree.
Yeah. I initially just got involved running the consignment bookstore because she wanted to have a place where people could bring their books and have them for sale to the other people who were there. I was like, I could do that. And in 2015, we had gotten to the point where we were outgrowing our space already.
Mhm.
They're in
Mhm.
our third year. And we had a contract for the fourth year already at the same place we'd done it year two. And I started going through the work of finding like a venue search or a more formal venue search, sending a request for proposal to convention and visitors bureaus around the country in order to plan two events in 1 year
Mm.
so that for the first time at the 2016 conference, we could announce where we were going to be, who
Mhm.
the keynote speaker would be for our 2017 conference, and have more of a launch at the conference in 2016 so that everybody could plan for 2017. And ever since then, we've kind of been a year ahead, and it's really allowed us to grow. That year we did that, even though we went to Reno, Nevada in 2017, which is local to no one.
Yes.
There's literally nobody local to Reno, Nevada. And it raised people's cost to attend because of flights and hotel and everything. We still grew by almost 80%
Right.
that year. So we're like, okay, I guess we'll have to try harder to break this. If we're ever going to break it, it's this is something that's working,
Mhm.
and we don't have to worry so much about choosing the wrong location, right? So we knew that we could just choose a venue by the best deal we could get at
Yeah.
the best hotel that wanted us to be there, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of places you can go and they could care less whether you're there. right? You're taking up one-fifth of their convention center, and now they've got all this other space they need to book. Whereas, when you find the right location, you fill it to the max, and they're
Yeah.
pleased as punch to have you there because they book you and they're full.
Yeah.
The
I love
salespeople have
it.
nothing else to do for that week other than take care of that one client. And so we've had a great run heading up through 2024, being able to revisit our
Mhm.
favorite venues that we'd established. But in 2023, once again, we realized we'd outgrown the space in
Yeah.
St. Louis. Everybody's favorite hotel.
I was
We
there in St. Louis. Yeah, I was a keynote speaker, wait, 2023. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Everybody loved your keynote. I mean,
Oh.
it's important to have people who really connect to the community's heart,
Mhm.
and you're one of the people who's really been able to do that.
Well, I heard about it. I'm gonna jump in here because I heard
Sure.
about it through the grapevine because my son wanted to write speculative fiction, and I would mention it, and they're like, "Everyone, like, you have to go to Realm Makers. You have to take it." Like, first of all, they told me to go to Realm Makers. You have to go with Nathan to Realm Makers. Like, I just kept hearing this Realm Makers. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I spoke at many conferences all over, and so I'm like, "Well, I think it was 2020." One, maybe? I went with Nathan. I think that was the year. Anyway, I went with Nathan just to go along. And I remember walking in there. I've been friends with Steve Lobby for a long time since we met in 94 at our first writers conference. It was his first and it was my first. And I remember like, what is going on? He's like, isn't this amazing? And just the energy, the young, youthful people sharing their ideas and cheering each other on, so excited about each other's book launches. And I remember going to Kara Swanson's book launch party and like, who are these people, Steve? I was just so amazed. And he's like, come to the dark side. I'm like, ha ha ha.
Yes.
I will never write speculative fiction. Well, yes. I mean, Nathan and I now have Breath of Bones, which is
I
our
love
first
it.
one. Book two comes out in July. We're finishing up book three. So actually, Scott, like, this is here because you guys, you and Becky, like did this. Like you had this vision, you built this community, and just being there and seeing the support and encouragement, and just letting even my mind. I wrote historical fiction before, but what if we add this fantasy element or steampunk? It's just been so fun. I love the conference. I love on Friday nights, well, the banquet night, we would dress up. I have my little steampunk outfit. It's just such a fun, um, faith filled,
Mhm, mhm.
fun environment, supportive environment. And I would say, out of all the conferences I've been to, I have never seen a more supportive group of people for each other. Because, like you're saying, speculative fiction is different. A lot of other conferences, they feel like they don't really fit in. In this conference, everyone fits in, everyone is welcome, everyone is supportive, and it's been fantastic.
Well, thank you, thank you. It's, the community is what makes the success of Realm Makers. It's the
Hmm.
people, and I just love serving them, and, to the degree that I manage a lot of the operations of the event of the conference, for me, it feels just like staging a musical or a play. It
Mm.
totally fuels my creative spirit in creating the event. And I don't miss theater, performing at all. This totally feeds everything that I want to do.
Yeah, it's so fun. I even like when they, and you've done. I know you've done it every year, but some years you when you read the first line of an award-winning book, it's just like everyone's just sitting there, like holding their breath, waiting to hear what the line is before they receive their award. It was just like such those little touches like that just make it super fun. Which you could tell now that you're saying theater background, I could totally see it. And even at your booths at homeschool conferences, I don't know. It's just this interactive quality to it that is great. And talk about the genres real quick before we talk about where you're going to be this year.
Sure.
Because what do we mean for those that may be wondering when we say speculative fiction?
Sure, sure, sure. So, speculative fiction really is an overarching term for what people might consider fantasy, sci-fi, supernatural, paranormal, horror, genres where what you're talking about is, like you said, what if? What if the Amish were the first ones to cultivate an uninhabited planet,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Like, logically, they would be the most equipped and
They would.
capable
Yeah.
people, right? And from there, hey, what could happen? You've got the Amish in outer space, go, right? It's not true that,
Mhm.
nobody's living in outer space, but what if, right? Um, with my wife particularly, she writes books about like, well, what if I make up this entirely new world of my own fashioning, give it a name, and define how the god of this world functions and interacts with the people of the world, and how power manifests itself in this world with, uh, blessings and curses, sort of like miracle, magic kind of works more like miracles when you're doing it right. And
Mhm.
wielding magic willy-nilly, you're really incurring a debt to the darkness, and the debt comes due. In
Mm.
the Doctor Strange movie, the bill comes due.
So it's like these
Until you get
I
right
love
with
it's like
God,
these
essentially.
these themes that we find, like biblical themes, they're just shown in different ways, in different worlds, in different
They are, but in
environments.
these genres, the reader drops their guard. They're just
Mhm.
enjoying the story. And you can drop a little truth bomb,
Mhm.
right? That says, your life is more valuable when you sacrifice for others,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You are going to be happier if you seek to serve the needs of someone else,
Mhm.
more so than trying to serve your own needs. Right? To the degree that, a Christian novel accomplishes anything, or a Christian author accomplishes anything in the reader through their novel, which may or may not be distinctly Christian, you cannot prevent your worldview from
Right.
permeating your entire world, right? And so you can drop these little truth bombs that aren't necessarily with the goal of accomplishing the end goal of saving the reader,
Mhm.
right? And bringing them to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. You might just be allowing them to read a story that doesn't take them to this titillating, or, horrify them, or to just submerge them in profanity that makes
Right.
them feel however they want to feel, just whatever strong emotion, and actually touches their heart
Mhm.
through a very adventurous story, or through this science fiction space opera. You can really get closer to a reader's heart when you completely remake the world,
Mhm.
right? Instead of it being black and white, saying, you are doing something wrong. This is how you would do it right. Change your heart now, right? Do it the way I'm suggesting you do it.
Right.
People are, in rare moments, open to that. Chances are it's not going to be when they're reading a book, it's when they're talking to someone who
Mhm.
they know cares for them.
Yeah. And I love how you said you're almost catching them off guard, like, they don't realize I mean, obviously, there's not gonna be all the junk in there that parents or they don't wanna read,
Hmm, hmm.
but it's also there's these truth thread without and within the story that really can touch them and speak to them, which they would never maybe get in other places because there's dragons and there's like cool things going on, there's spaceships, and I love that
Yeah.
so much. Okay, so let's talk about the conference, because I want to hear where it's going to be. I know it's in Grand Rapids this year, but this new location, there's something exciting going on here, and you're opening it up to readers. So tell us about where it's going to be, tell us about the writers conference, but also what you're doing with the expo and opening it up to readers.
Right. I am so excited about the 2025 conference. And so the new thing that we're doing, in addition to the Realm Makers Writers Conference, which is very much going to look like what it's looked like in the past, in its part of the DeVos Place Convention Center, um, we're cooperating with the Christian Game Developers Conference. We're giving them some space. So we'll have a bunch of Christian game developers, video games, board games, card games, role playing games, same kind of people, same kind of Christian creative people, but just a different artistic medium that they're working in. And the original plan, honestly, was just for us to combine our two exhibit halls, our respective exhibit halls that we would normally have at our own annual conferences, and geek out over each other's stuff, get a little bit
Yeah.
bigger space, right? That was the original plan. What we ended up with was a 55,000 square foot expo hall.
Oh, wow.
And when we walked into there, it immediately occurred to me, okay, God has a bigger plan than I had for this event. What I had in mind is not what will fill this space. And the space really demanded what we're planning to do now, which is more of an expo that is inviting Christian storytellers from every form of media,
Hmm.
right? Rather than exclusively authors from the conference, from the writers conference, and game developers from the game developers conference, we're going to have animators, comic illustrators and writers, film and TV, uh, voiceover actors. It's going to be every creative medium represented at this fan con, and we're inviting readers to come in. And so it's, if you've ever been to a secular fan con where you go and you take pictures with the celebrities and there are book signings all over the place, and it's fun and entertaining, that's really what we're doing. We've got live entertainment that'll be happening in addition for families, live Christian sketch comedy audio drama, like on stage for families. Um, that's going to be Saturday. We've got Green Ember Live, starring the author S.D. Smith. Uh,
Yeah.
he's going to be Sunday afternoon entertainment. And it's going to be an absolute amazing opportunity for families in the greater Grand Rapids area and beyond to descend and love on the Christian creators who are trying to impact popular culture, because our kids, like Gen Z,
Hmm.
these are the genres that they're digesting,
Yep.
and we need to be there. Christians need to be there. For a very long time, the Christian industry was very much not supportive of Christians participating in these genres. So what's happened is there are Christians at the top of the industry in the secular companies creating things that they're paid to create, and they wish that they could be doing more God honoring stuff.
Hmm.
And my prayer for the professionals coming to the expo are that they're going to meet other Christian creators at the top of their genre and be emboldened to collaborate with these other Christian creative people and do more work for creating fantastic entertainment for popular culture, but more from a Christian worldview.
I love that. I love that so much. And you're so right about this generation. So, my oldest is 35, my youngest is 14, my oldest grandson's 13, and then we have all the way down to toddler. But like just yesterday, everyone comes over to my house, usually on the weekends. Yesterday, Sunday afternoon, I had two adult sons and a friend, and then my youngest son and two grandsons all playing these card games around my dining room table. And I made them dinner, and everyone's hanging out. And sometimes I'm able to jump in. Depends on. I'm more the board game people. I'm all
Hmm.
about those big board games that take like 2 hours, and if I could
Hmm.
beat them, I'm like really feeling good. But like this is what we do for gathering, and they love it, and they talk, and they go to the card shops, and they play games there, and they're connecting with other people. That's where their friends hang out. Like this is kind of their world,
Yeah.
and they are smart. they know story, they know games. So this is going to be amazing. So, if you maybe have not read this genre, first of all, I didn't really read speculative fiction, Scott, until I started going. And now I read a lot of speculative fiction because it's so good. I really do enjoy it. And it's just so well written. And now I'm able to connect with my adult kids, my teen kids, my grandkids. So this is a great family vacation, and it's in July. So let's talk about again the location and the date. So it's July 18th through 20th at the Du Bois Place Convention Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Um, and there's going to be all, like you said, all these different genres are going to be there. So, what can they expect, like when they go into the expo? Does it? What's the cost, and how can they get a family pass? Tell us all the things that go along with that.
Sure, we actually were launching ticket sales on April 1st, which will probably be before this airs.
Hmm.
Um, but you can get I almost have to like toggle back to it myself because I create things, but once I'm done, I'm like, what did I do? I don't remember. Um, So tickets are so you can get a VIP weekend pass where you get all this swag and free access to the special entertainment and 10% off at the bookstore. But I'll just start with like you can get a weekend pass for the Saturday and Sunday. For an adult is $40 for both days, and youth 12 to 17 are $20 for
Okay,
both days, Saturday and Sunday. The whole weekend, uh, children 11 and under are free. They're
awesome.
free to the special entertainment performances. They're free coming into the expo, um, 11 and under. Now, if they just want to come to one day, adults are $25, youth are $10. So we really priced this as low as
Yeah.
we possibly could. So there's no room left to discount things. But you can also get a family pass. And in each case, no matter which way you want to attend, whether it's the whole weekend or one day, the cost maxes out at two adults and two youth,
Okay.
right? That's all you'll ever pay for. Beyond that, every other child is free, even if they're
Awesome.
12 to 17 years old, right? So
Awesome.
two adults and all your kids for the cost of two adults and two youth, right? So if it's $25 for one day and 10 for an adult, $10 for a kid, it's $70 and it's just you and all your children,
Yeah.
right?
And those are such good prices because if you go to one movie and one fast food meal, it's more than that for the whole weekend cost. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that is really a good price. Like when you think about things that you might do instead on the weekend, you get to meet all the writers and, like you said, these live performances. You get to walk around, look at the booths. I know there's probably more swag that people will be giving away at their booths. That is so exciting. Now, if people are interested in being exhibitors, I know Realm Makers is the place to go if they're interested in attending. Is it the same place, realmmakers.com, if they're interested in being an exhibitor too?
Yeah. For the sake of the expo, we use so you can go to expo.realmmakers.com. And Realm
Okay.
Makers, it's always terrible when you say it and voice to text, or if you're typing it, it always ends up deal makers or something different. But it's RealmMakers dot
Yes.
com, realmmakers.com. But expo.realmmakers.com, and you can click on tickets for tickets, or you can click on sponsor or exhibit if you want to be an exhibitor. We've got tons of booth space available for authors and retailers of any kind. And the expo is really inviting in people of every genre. You do not have to write fantasy or science fiction to participate in the expo. I would
Okay.
love to see Christian fiction authors of all stripes there, because you know what? In any given family, you're going to find a little bit of everything in terms of fandom. Right.
Yeah.
And so we really want to encourage everyone who has books or has candles to sell or whatever it is that they do. We'd love to have them exhibit at the expo. We've booked some uh, celebrities or special guests even just today. I
Okay.
confirmed. Oh, can we talk about that yet?
Yes. No, I wanna hear
Oh,
it.
I'm
I wanna
so
hear it all.
excited. So, Mike Naraki has been joining us at homeschool conventions for the last
Mhm.
4 years. Your readers may not recognize the name Mike Naraki, but most people know Larry the Cucumber.
Yes.
And he is so fantastic and generous. And I just confirmed this morning that he will be at Realm Makers at the expo. I just confirmed two OG Disney animators, like back from the 90s. So we've got Tom and Tony Bancroft. They're twin brothers, and they've both been Disney animators. They're now working in the Christian industry. They're both Christian guys. So many of those original Disney animators
Mhm.
were Christian guys. Um, so if you like the characters of Mushu and Iago, or the movies The Lion King and Mulan, um, you can come and meet some of the animators. If you play League of Legends with your kids, or your kids are playing League of Legends, um, Alex Magnus Lehman, he created the video game. He's a Christian
Wow.
guy working at Riot Games, and he's the director of MMO R&D, research and development at Riot Games. So excited to have him. ND Wilson, now, N.D. Wilson, he's been an author for decades. He is one of the producers of the recent House of David streaming
Oh,
series on Amazon Prime.
we just started watching that. I think we're on
Yeah, N.D. Wilson,
episode
he
3.
wrote some of the pilot script, and he's an executive producer and a producer on some of the episodes. He created the film, the Christian nature documentary Riot and the Dance,
Mhm.
that's now streaming on the Angel Guild.
Yeah.
And he wrote 100 Cupboards, which is one of his most famous middle grade novels,
Yeah.
and
Nice guy
many
too,
others.
super nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, and we've got Geeks Under Grace is a online community that's going to be there. Christian Geek Central, they're going to be there. Peter Franzen. And it's really going to be a place where Christians who want good entertainment can come, and they can support the Christians who are trying to make it. There's so many indie film studios. Now, Light of the World is an animated feature that comes out in September. It's a project of the Salvation Poem Project. They're going to be there, and that's one of the recent projects that Tom and Tony Bancroft have worked on. But the Salvation Poem Project is going to be there, and so I am just, my heart goes out. It is doing this for the professionals, and the best
Mhm.
thing I can do for them is to bring their fans to them and buy their book, or get a preview. Like, we're going to be previewing the third season of the Wingfeather Saga in a screening
Oh,
room
cool.
2
Yep.
months before it comes out. It'll come out in September, but in July, you'll be able to go to the screening room and see a preview of the 3rd season of Wingfeather and Light of the World, and we're gonna try to get some other screenings in there. There's other things exciting that are in the works that I can't say right now because they haven't really dropped,
Yeah.
but, as we approach July, more and more and more special guests are gonna be added to the expo.
This is so cool. You know what I could just see? Like you're talking at the beginning of, theater geek meets this writer and gamer. It's like God's hand is just like, I need you guys together because this is what you're gonna be doing down the road, and you're gonna be blessing a lot of people, and you can just see His hand in all of it. And I think it's gonna be so amazing, especially for the younger generation. And just real quick, I know a lot of the writers at Realm Makers are younger than like a typical writers conferences, and it's so
Oh,
cool to see
absolutely.
them like pouring into each other.
The demographics are so young. I mean, 50% of the people who attend the Realm Makers Writers Conference are younger than 35.
That's amazing. Yeah.
75% are younger than 45,
Yeah. I'm an
right?
old one there. I'm 53.
Yeah, we're the same age. I was born at Halloween, 71.
Oh, see, I'm in July. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
be there. My birthday's July 17th, Scott. You always have Realm Makers
Oh,
right around my birthday, so it's my birthday present. We go to Realm Makers.
awesome, awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, if this expo is a success, God willing,
Mhm.
we're gonna reproduce it all over the country.
Oh, very cool.
right? So the expo existing on its own, apart from the writers' conference, could happen in Nashville, in Dallas, in Phoenix, Orlando, right? Wherever it makes sense, wherever the venue works,
Hmm.
we can do a Realm Makers Expo and honor all the creative Christians and bring their audience to them and drive an economy that supports what Christians want to see, right? Because as long as Christians who love fantasy and science fiction are going to see what the big studios are producing, that's the only place where the money's going to go,
Yeah.
right? And everybody, at our age and younger, I mean, we grew up in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. This is happening because we grew up in the age of blockbusters,
Hmm.
right? Jaws came out, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and this fueled our imaginations. And then Lord of the Rings and C.S. Lewis. And so that's what has prompted this genre being this popular right now because we all grew up and now we're
Absolutely.
creating it.
Oh yeah, we my husband sat there with my kids, watched all the original Star Trek. I mean, like all the old Star Trek with my kids, all the B-rated sci-fi everything movies with my kids, and we read The Lord of the Rings out loud to them. We read the Chronicles of Narnia out loud to them. Some of Bill Myers books out loud to like all these old books that well they're old now, but you know what I mean,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these books that but you're right, they have these creative minds that the board games we play lots of board games with our kids. So yeah, because you're right, because we grew up with these things, they're kind of like blossoming in it and I love it. Okay, real quick,
Yeah.
what times are like the exhibit hours so people could know what to expect on is it on Saturday and Sunday? Are those the days the exhibit halls open?
Well, if you get the VIP pass, you get some extra time, right? So there's a Friday VIP only
Okay.
time from 3 to 6:30 in the
Okay.
expo hall. It opens up just for VIP passes and conference goers, right? So
Okay.
that's what is available on Friday. Saturday, VIPs also get in an hour early at 9 a.m. But
Okay.
other than that, the expo opens at 10 a.m. on Saturday and it closes at 7 p.m. on Saturday. But at on Saturday at 5 o'clock, you can catch the Main Street Music Show, which, if you're familiar with Prairie Home Companion on NPR, it's very much like that, only distinctly Christian sketch comedy audio drama, right? So you can see the person doing the Foley sounds on the side, with the footsteps and the noises that are necessary. They got the box of Frosted Flakes and they're crumpling, if you can picture that. And
That's
then
so
on
fun.
Sunday, we actually have a worship time with the conference and everything in the big ballroom. So we'll have, because we're going over Sunday, and this was all because of the venue, strictly because of the accommodating the venue when it was available. For the
Hmm.
first time, we're actually doing something on a Sunday instead of everyone leaving on Sunday.
Right.
So we thought, okay, let's do worship and a message Sunday morning. And then 11 a.m., the expo opens until 6 o'clock. And
Okay.
and the special events, the Main Street Music Show and SD Smith's Green Ember Live. They're just an additional cost of $10 for kids, $20 for adults. Again, with the family pass, right? But 11 and under are free,
Awesome.
right?
Oh, this sounds so much fun. I'm hoping I'm gonna have my vendor booth there. Gonna bring more than just my speculative fiction. So if there's some readers that are like, "Hey, I think there might be some other people that yes, I want to check out speculative fiction, but there might be some other books there." Yes, we're gonna have other books there too.
Yeah, and I'd
Awesome.
love
I
to be
love
able
this.
to host other people, like other publishers who, I know the fiction readers retreat, didn't happen this year. It would be great if, people could just make it happen at the expo. There's
So
tons
cool.
of room and just get a few tables together. So I'm really hopeful that this grows and grows and grows. We've got enough room to do it.
I love it. Oh, so cool. I cannot wait to see what God is doing because it's obvious that God has been at work in this. I know people can go to realmmakers.com. You can find the details there. You can grab your tickets. You can find out about being an exhibitor. You can also email, text, check with your friends. You could all meet up in Grand Rapids. This sounds like a fantastic family event. Is there anything we forgot, Scott?
I don't think there's anything we forgot, and if anybody is not near enough to can't get to Grand Rapids, you can join our community online at
Okay.
community.realmmakers.com. Participate with us online. It's free to join as a fan. There's also subscription levels where you could join a book club where you get to meet the author virtually, and we coordinate community 365 days a year in our
Mhm.
private social network. So you don't have to be on Facebook, you don't have to be on social media to participate with Realm Makers in our private social network. Just go to realmmakers.com and you'll see the community, you'll see the expo, you'll see the writers conference and everything else we do. We didn't even talk hardly about the bookstore,
Oh, yeah. Then the
right?
bookstore.
But that's how we met, at the homeschool conventions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because we were at a convention. We met in Florida. I was
yep.
selling so many books. You were selling so many books. Like, we couldn't even have a chance to talk when that was actually going on. And afterwards, we're like, "Hey, I'm Trisha." You're like, "I'm Scott." Like, it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
after we were done
We're
packing
all
up that
packed
we're
up, just kinda standing there, yeah.
yeah,
But
able
it's
to
really
talk.
been amazing. You've been so generous to us over the last few years. I really appreciate your heart for our authors and your talent and, what we've learned from seeing you and what you do at the homeschool conventions, you know?
Mhm.
It's been a blessing, and I really appreciate your input into our community and your contributions.
Well, thank you. I love it. I think it's an amazing community, and we're excited to be there. So thank you, Scott, so
I
much.
can't wait.